let me tell you some things I like about you. I think that you're so funny, and I think, it's so easy with your eyes to just switch from being funny to being touching and serious. You're just a great actor, and all the way around. I just think that you're so talented.
That's so nice, coming from Ellen, especially.
I mean, the slightest thing.
I really appreciate it, and sincerely, you know, what a fan I am of you. You're so genuine and so honest and deal with the relatable stuff. So I always feel very comfortable because I like your sense of humor. You're kind to people and you like to laugh about stuff. So it's fun to be with you.
Well, good. Well,
let's
thanks.
dance it out. Turn up, DJ.
That's what I mean. And you're a white guy who can dance. You're like, I don't know what you can't do. Is there something, I mean, you really can do, is there something you're holding out on?
No, I've taken the few talents I have and I showcase them. I have no hidden talent.
No?
There's nothing everything I'm immediately okay at, that is out there. That is there for all to see, so.
We're not going to find out you play an instrument, that you...
You know, when I was younger, at 10 years old in the 5th grade at the public school, then everyone had to take an instrument for appreciation of these instruments. Somehow I got chosen to play the violin. I don't know why.
Wow.
But that became my road into music. Which, by the way, if you started like playing maybe the piano or something with songs that you actually liked, I think more kids would stick with it. But right off the bat, it's like songs you never heard of. It's like stuff that you don't really understand. So anyway, I was in the violin section, and how it worked was you would go in to take rehearsals. And so you'd have to fill out how long you practice each day. 30 minutes was recommended, but if you wanted to go longer, knock yourself out. I never found myself in that situation.
No?
But what I would do was, I didn't practice, but I didn't want to quit because I didn't want to like give up at something. But I was no good at it. I had no talent for it. I was dyslexic. It was all so complicated for me. But I figured I'll go and I'll have the dignity of this woman who's very nice, Mrs. Baldwin, pulling me aside and saying, Vince, bless your heart. You know how they say, bless your heart, you tried your best, it's time. There's other things you might be good at, this is not your calling. But I would fill out my rehearsal the day of, because I just didn't want to look like I didn't rehearse. I couldn't play a note. For some reason, Mrs. Baldwin never told me to leave. Now all of a sudden we become a full orchestra where you're in your sections. And so I would sit there, there's 2 sections, and as the cheers go, so does your talent. I was in the last cheer of the last section, so she knew I was not a prodigy.
Right.
But I would sit there nervous and sweating, following the bows, never touching the strings because I was scared to hit a bad note. So I would watch the other bows and go, now I'm up, now I'm down, and there would be like a 10-second part that I knew, and I kind of rocked that out, and that felt good. And then it was over with. And then it ended, and it's safe to say I did not re-up after that.
No.
But she never said, hey, look, I know you can't play anything, but I think you should stay and have this experience. It was the most bizarre, humiliating thing I've ever gone through in my life.
But you stayed back there and actually just followed the bows.
Well, like, she's going to tell me to go home. I'm not talented, which is what but she never said it. I figured maybe she thought, God, this guy's so, like, not capable, but he won't go away. I don't want to tell the poor kid to go home. So, yeah, I would sit there. I'd watch what they did. I'd move it like this, but I'd never actually touch string to string. That was an uncomfortable time.
Because when you're not making the right note, there's nothing that sounds worse than hitting a wrong note on a violin. That is, there's no way to...
There's nothing worse. I mean, the practicing of, like, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star sound like cats coming home to roost. It was none of it was good.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't realize this. I found this out this morning when I was, we were talking about you. That's what we do before you get here. We all talk about you. That you're engaged.
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy. I met her through a good friend of mine, and she makes me laugh, and she's wonderful. I'm just thrilled. Yeah.
Oh, good. And when will you get married?
Well, you know, the engagement, like we talked about, it wasn't one of those things. Have you seen these things where these people ask people to marry them in really public ways, and then the people say no? You think they'd have a little talk before they went to that extreme.
Yeah.
It's always like got some game in the floor, and it's like, then you start to wonder, did they go to such a big public display to corner the other person so they couldn't say no? They were forcing them into it instead of like a thing? So I knew, we had talked about it, and I knew we were both kind of in agreement with it. And then I sort of was like, then it became about when do you ask? So Valentine's Day rolled around. I figured this is not a ship to be missed because I will not forget this date. So Valentine's Day was the day that I asked her, which worked out great because it would have been kind of weird to have talked about it and then skip Valentine's Day as if who knows when this thing's coming. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And how long have you actually been dating?
We've been dating for about 1.5 years.
And do you, because I know you're very kind of quiet, you don't really go out a lot and everything. Do you watch a lot of TV together? Do you?
Yeah, every relationship at some point you end up watching a couple shows that you like together that are not necessarily great shows.
What do y'all like together? That's what I'm getting at.
Well, I've been kind of busy. My reality career started 10 years ago. With the show where the one girl was in the house and then they had 20 guys.
Sure, that's right.
And they were going to pick who's going to... And I remember when I saw that, I thought, there's no way that this is actually a show. Like, these people don't know each other. They're picking the person to spend their lives with.
Right.
And these people are fanatical. Like, they want to get picked.
Right.
But they don't even know this person.
No, they're in love.
They're in love. And then at the end, I love the wrinkle, which is, do you take true love or you take $1 million in cash on the side?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one. That's
not the same one.
Yeah, I don't think that's Bachelorette.
I can't keep up with the enticingness of these shows.
So you like these still?
No, I watched that one. I couldn't believe it, and I got over it. I said, okay, now this is what they're doing. But I'm waiting for, like, My Whore or some kind of show to come out. You know what I mean? Where they like, you know, it's like My Fair Lady style with the street ladies. I don't know where this stops.
You may
I'll be on it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. You actually may
They will dress me up. I'll be contestant 1.
It's called Couples Retreat, and the cast is so great. Jason Bateman, who is so hilarious. I adore him.
And such a good actor, too.
Yeah, so good. And all the people that are the therapists, it's 3 couples?
Yeah, 4
couples.
It's 4 couples, but really kind of 3 and one guy who's going through like a midlife crisis.
Right. Who go to Bora Bora on this retreat to try to see if they're all supposed to be together. And it's really funny. Really, really funny. So in this, I was trying to figure it out when you were doing that scene. I thought those look like motorized or someone's yanking it with a, it's not a real shark, but they were real sharks? Well,
in that particular scene, a lot of it's done with computers afterwards, but the shot at towards the end of the movie when it's me and Malin with the full gear on, those are real sharks. And growing up in the Midwest where it's flat and cold, this was an experience I never dreamed of, I never wanted. And then we were there, they're like, you should really swim with the sharks. So I said, okay. I was like, oh, God, I have to swim with the sharks now. And then when we were done filming, I did go back down and sort of swim around, and you got past that initial fear. And it's really beautiful, and it's really an amazing opportunity to get a chance to look at all the fish and
that was amazing. That's at the end of the movie, sort of with the credits. And those stingrays, I swam with stingrays when I was there, too. Isn't it the weirdest thing?
It was crazy, because I knew that...
That's you with the shark underneath, I think. There's when you're scuba diving.
The stingrays, for me, I knew that one gentleman who was like a brave animal adventurer was stung and killed by a stingray. And then these guys said to me, we've raised these stingrays since, you know, they were kids.
Right.
But still, I was like, well, what happens if the stingray has a bad day? What if we don't have chemistry?
Right.
So you pet the stingray, and you're out there with a ton of fish, which is what makes them come around you. But I don't know. This could go very badly, but I would feed them. You feed them through the side. That's where their things are. And once I got into it, it's just a very humbling thing to be there with these animals and to get a chance to be that close to it. I really wouldn't think that would be something that would be on my bucket list per se, but I really enjoyed it once I was there.
It's beautiful there.
You jump in the water?
I didn't jump in. I was chicken. I climbed down the ladder, but Portia would jump in, and because it's like 20 feet up. But yeah,
the water's spectacular.
Oh God, and it's crystal clear. And when we first got there, we're swimming because these, you know, your huts are right out over the water, and we're swimming. We're like, God, there's no fish here. It's amazing. There's no fish here. And then we were walking by, like the next day, and the next hut over, there was like a 5-foot-long barracuda, and they're like, oh yeah, the barracudas, don't get near them. And I'm like, we're in the water, imagining there's no fish in the ocean. It's weird.
It's an ocean with no fish.
Yeah, I know.
And then the barracuda happens to be next door.
There's a barracuda next to us in the next hut.
Did you get in the water after you learned that the barracuda was a neighbor?
I did.
Yes, I like that.
Because, you know, and then we swam with the stingrays and everything. And
what was your favorite? What, did you do the sharks as well?
I didn't do the sharks. Yeah. We jet skied out and saw dolphins, a whole school of dolphins that would swim with us when we were jet skiing, which was really fun. They'd just kind of play with the jet skis and jump in front of you and back and forth. And I was slowing down. I thought I'd hit them, but then they got bored and went away. They like when you go fast.
Yeah.
And they're, you know...